Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the daily update, my 1000 days challenge. It's day 634, so let's get things started. Alright, so yeah, in terms of the balance update itself, like what I mentioned, I finally updated it, and I realized I actually entered two sets of a trade itself, and both were long trade, and both were actually triggering a stop loss, so it's actually a negative of $600 itself. So other than that, nothing much has changed in terms of the balance wise. Can look in terms of breakdown, and then there was also one experimental trade that I took along the way, and another $10 loss in terms of that. Other than that, nothing too significant. So if you look in terms of overall wise, I would say S&P 500 and Nasdaq definitely looks to be a little bit more bullish on the yesterday close. But what I mentioned is that we do want to see a confirmation, which is a push towards the upside. Unfortunately, today was actually a very bearish candle, as you can see over on the side. You can see all the market actually break, with gold remaining relatively flat itself. So oil is still hovering around the $100 range itself. So potentially, let's see how things goes. But definitely, things looks to be a little bit more bearish in terms of a short to mid-term kind of perspective. But overall, if you were to look, say, 1 to 2 years down the road, I do see things to be continuation towards the upside of things as well. All right, and then moving on, if you look in terms of China market itself, ESHR definitely have a very sharp drop, especially when you look in terms of the break of a critical low itself. But bear in mind that even though ESHR has a very sharp drop on the daily chart itself, I would like to point out that if you look in terms of the overall retracement from the all-time high to the low itself, it's not as significant, even though if you just look over here, it's just basically a drop, a very nice descending triangle formation, consolidation right below resistance region itself, and then much continuation towards the downside. But the key thing over here is that if this is not the capitulation itself, this could very much be the actual capitulation itself as well. I did mention in order for this to be a confirmed capitulation and a continuation or reversal towards the bullish momentum, we want a bullish market structure, which means a high and a higher high which didn't form. So this is the lower high in that sense. So which is why I mentioned, if you want to be clear, you do not want to enter right before this key horizontal resistance on the money chart itself. All right, so as for how low it can go, it's up to anybody guess. We could potentially be hitting near the $22 region itself, in which case I do see a very strong support coming in, or some sort of temporary weak support on the $25 region itself. As for KREP itself, it's surprisingly more resilient. I would say that it's mainly because if you look in terms of the all-time high to the low itself, it has already retraced around 80% drop itself, which is, you can say, almost a complete wipeout in terms of the capital itself. If you even entered any time in terms of the KREP lifespan, which is the past 8 years itself. So that's definitely a very drastic drop. So definitely I do see a very lack of sellers that will be drastically trying to push down towards the downside of things. It's basically put in perspective that if you have actually invested every $1, especially towards the high itself, you're potentially only having around 20 cents left. So it doesn't have much incentive for you to cash out unless you really do need the cash, or more importantly, you'll be more likely to hold in that sense. So yeah, let's see how things goes. But definitely this is an all-time low for KREP itself, which is why I say uncharted territory since the beginning or launch of the indexes itself since 2013-ish. All right, other than that, that's more or less about it. In terms of Bitcoin wise, there is potentially still opportunity to enter a short, but currently right now, based on the sudden drop, which I missed around 8 o'clock-ish, if you were to enter in terms of Singapore time around 3 hours ago, there will be a potential short opportunity. But other than that, I don't see any good shorting opportunity itself because of the poor risk to reward. But we do consolidate over here for the next couple of days itself. I'll be very keen to enter a short near towards the end of this week, just before the weekend. So around Thursday to Friday region, if you're still near here, and then I'll be ready to do a sell stop order right below there. Yep, and that's more or less about it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye.